Welcome back, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Alistair, your host. 8 to 10 feet to my left is the amazing Marguerite.
Hi. We really never have measured how much distance there is between our desks.
I took a look earlier today and I realised 8 feet probably wasn't cutting it.
I think 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
We have to get scientific about it. Hello, everybody, and hello to the raid. How are you doing? Excellent timing.
Hello to Shitpost and the raid. How are you? Welcome aboard. Welcome, everybody. I hope the holiday season has treated you extremely well so far. It's done pretty well by us. Thank you for your indulgence last Sunday when we did not stream, because we woke up on time and then we didn't. And that ended up being kind of a recovery day, but it was a good recovery day.
I love this. Mama Shitpost dropped us off at Uncle Alistair's. I think Uncle Alistair's needs to be on some calligraphy at some point. I'm imagining it like a diner, like a 24-hour diner. Uncle Alistair's 24-hour diner and bookshop.
We sell pancakes 24 hours a day.
Exactly. Ooh, you still a little cough?
A little bit.
Okay.
For those of you who are new, this is a show which tends to break down into 3 parts. First off, to give you a chance to get situated, we have a piece of fan art, which this week is Peter Lucas by the amazing Rudyard. We'll have a link for that in the show notes after the fact. And then we jump straight to an opening monologue. A lot of the time, this monologue is by Nate Crowley, fantastic author, games journalist, and basically our house band at this point.
But not this week, because this week is the last installment of A Christmas Carol, so we are doing full-blown all things Dickens.
Oh, we're going all in on this one. So after the opening monologue, we will catch up with what's gone on with us this week, and also the, frankly, astounding final Chungus outfit for this particular story. And then we'll do the closing stave of A Christmas Carol. This is not long. It's about 2,500 words, and quite a lot of them are Scrooge going, "I've been a dick, sorry, which means we're just going to have
Content warning. Accents.
And Victorian morality. And Victorian joy, which is always weird and spiky. And you worry.
Yeah, because I learned a fascinating fact about Boz today and the Victorian Christmas gift giving.
I want to enter into the record. You called him Boz first this week.
Duly noted, Counselor.
Okay.
Okay, objection sustained. Remind me after you finish the story that I will tell this fascinating Christmas Boz fact I learned today, courtesy of Bo Bolander, of all people.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we have that to look forward to, and we also have a poll for you as to what you would like us to do next.
Because this is the last installment of A Christmas Carol. So it's time to have a vote on what we're going to pick up starting with in January. We've got a couple of interesting options for you, and we'll chat about them at that time.
But without further ado, and with thanks to Patrick MacDonald, we have for you Mr. Scrooge's Apology. Posted on Twitter, December 25th, 2020, 4:14 p.m. After a sleepless night of listening, reflection, and several frightening realizations, I wanted to acknowledge how my actions in the past may have been hurtful to some, my employee, my employee's family, my nephew, representatives of various non-profits, etc. I am ashamed of the disrespect I have previously given Christmas, and even though I am an old man, I clearly have some learning to do. From my community, I ask for grace and patience as I work on myself, but I want to be as helpful as I can in the present moment. So, please, if you're in need of a goose today, let me know and I will buy you the biggest one I can find. I know this won't make up for a lifetime of being an asshole, but it is a start. Love and life, Ebenezer Scrooge.
How did Scrooge turn into Trexel? He turned into Old Man Trexel. You know that, don't you?
I have one speed, David, and it's guilty.
Don't say the Lord power. This is all part out loud.
Anyway, what's Chungus wearing this week?
Chat.
Wendy has excelled herself.
Hang on a second. Let me push the button. There's the button. You might need a hand with this.
do 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 do.
Was that fun?
Yes, it was great. I loved it. Crocheted sprouts, y'all.
With googly eyes, courtesy
Crocheted
of yours truly.
sprouts.
But that is not the main event.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my god, you've made him rotisserie.
Look at him. Gaze in awe upon his glory. Look.
Look at
He even
Chungus's
has holly. It's
magnificent,
incredible.
decorated, Christmassy lad.
We walk in the garden of his turbulence.
Which is just a thing you like saying, to be
Yes,
honest.
yes it is.
Can you show off the sprouts again? Because they are adorable.
Wendy, these are by some distance the cutest embroidered crochet thing I've ever seen.
Thank you for the bits for Chungus. Yeah, the little crocheted sprouts and eyeballs are just the cutest thing. This one's my favorite.
Yes.
He's green and sparkly.
Sparkly.
I'm totally putting these on the Christmas tree this year. And this is the tiny baby one. Look, I'm a little baby sprout.
Not the mama.
Not the mama. Yeah, exactly. And this was apparently Wendy's favorite. She really likes the yarn on this one.
I can see why.
Aren't they adorable? And there will be some much better photos made available on the stream notes later today.
So, what's new with us, hon?
Other than crocheted sprouts?
Other than crocheted sprouts, we've had some time off. Marguerite has discovered the joys of Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Which she is unfortunately playing till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every night
It's
right now.
fine. It's fine. It's
But
fine.
there were bad guys, and they turned into monsters, and they came after me while I was on a stroll, and my students had to come save me, and it was very dramatic, and I could not go to bed in the middle
Exactly. Plus, it took some time to unlock the ability to feed every cat and dog in the game.
of it. Yes, that's like one of the best parts. And I should be applauded for the fact that I have continued to play the plot of the game.
Absolutely. And not just turned it into Sim, Cato, and Doggo.
Exactly. Scott also says he got your Day of the Doctor book.
Brilliant. I hope you enjoy it.
Send us a photo when you get a chance, Scott, or did you get the electronic version?
So yes, we did that, and I'm currently happily mining the rich vein of weird astronaut movies on Amazon Prime, which is making me unreasonably happy. I watched a detailed breakdown today of the controversy surrounding the death of the 2 astronauts in Apollo 18, a mission that never happened. And is actually not the first Apollo 18 movie I've seen, because, hi, I'm Alistair. So that's going on, and I've applied for a couple of courses. Kat Rambo is a former SFWA president, that's Science Fiction Writers of America president, and all around just phenomenally good egg. And Kat runs a rolling series of courses for writers on everything. And none of these are especially bank-breaking. But in the run-up to the end of the year, she's had a sale on, so everything that's currently up, and it's a decent selection, it's about 20 courses, is $6. So, I have bought How to Character, Writing Your Way into Your Novel, and one whose title temporarily completely escapes me. But because I want to get...
Wasn't it the flash fiction one, I think?
I think it may have been. Because I want to get the first novel out on submission next year, and I want to get the second novel to the point where it is ready to go out on submission, I've got to get serious about this stuff. And I'm an enormous nerd and a teacher's kid, so my default tool is, do I need to learn a thing? Looks like I need to learn a thing. Let's go learn a thing.
Lisa Simpson voice. Grade me!
Grade me!
Yes, exactly. You
Also
took
in
another
it-
course before Christmas, didn't you, as well?
I did, writing fat characters,
Which was very good.
was very useful and has completely changed around a lot of my perceptions in that regard. For example, I'm watching New Girl for the moment, for the first time, which, for the vast majority of it, I'm genuinely loving. It is a sitcom absolutely full of magnificent failures of humanity. And the way that they deal with one character's massive weight loss and the person he thinks he should be versus the person he was is equal parts really interesting and at the same time, oh, come on. You know, where Friends was just universally and provably incredibly cruel about fat people. You can see New Girl engaging with it, and in my TED Talk, we will be just another time. Another time.
You and Meg Ellison should do a TED Talk. And Marilyn Ashby, that would be amazing.
Yes. So we have that. Oh, and in other news, this week, I believe, is the deadline for you to sign up for a voting membership for WashCon, Discon 3?
Discon 3. So the Hugo Awards season will kick off in the new year. And tomorrow, the 31st of December, is the last day to purchase what's called a supporting membership. I believe it's $50 US now, which gives you the ability to nominate and vote for the, for the Hugo Awards. And I will scare you up a link here shortly.
Because it turns out, and I mean, we've been tremendously lucky because we've had a show on the Hugo finalist list for the last couple of years on Best Semi-Prozine. Please don't ask me to define what that is. And also, I've been a Best Fan Writer finalist for the last couple of years. We haven't quite finished running the math yet, but we think we might have stuff that's eligible in 4 categories this year. Possibly including mystery.
Can I just jump on? I saw a comment in the chat that I thought you might want to talk about for a minute, which is, could you not just write a fat character like a character who was not fat?
That's a really interesting one, because for the longest time, that was actually what I did.
But that's kind of like writing a gay character who's not gay.
Yeah.
It's failing to acknowledge the reality of their identity.
I mean, I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'1" and
6'2",
6'2", and currently north of 400 pounds, and I've yo-yoed between about 250 and 400 forever. And I mean, I'm like every writer. We're all fundamentally unimaginative. Every one of our main characters tends to be us on some level. So I write big guys, and I've never really felt the need to describe them as anything other than big guys. And one of the things the course taught me was that, if nothing else, if someone has physical mass and presence to them, they navigate the world differently. And when that exact phrase was used, Zalia, I know we all feel very called out. It's okay, dude. When that exact phrase was used, I remembered every single time I picked my way across a crowded dining hall, and where the chairs push against me, and the spaces I fit through and the spaces I can't. And I see your point about how Martin is just Martin, and that's absolutely true. But for me, the silent and kind of invisible part of it, which this course really helped me bolt on, was, here is this character as they're presented, and here is who they are. And as Martin has grown through the 5 years into who he is, I feel like this course has really helped me take my characters from here is who they present as to here is who they are. And especially given the first novel is me processing years and years of calling it astronaut porn sounds tawdry. And yet, I have a deep abiding love for crude spaceflight. Also crude spaceflight, but there's much less written about that.
Did you just say crew spaceflight?
Yes.
Did you just make a Motley Crue reference?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
yeah.
My.
Cell 5 for the big dog.
Big dog. Let's move on.
So I'm processing a lot of that. And the ideal that you see through decades of documentaries about the space program is everyone is fit and strong and thin. And the novel is actually set at a point where space has been largely industrialized. So the main character is a private security contractor. He's actually sentenced to being a private security contractor after an environmental protest in London about a space elevator goes extremely wrong. And when space elevators go extremely wrong, it is hilarious. in a truly horrifying way.
In a throwing large objects at the planet
Yes.
sort of definition of hilarious.
So basically, he spends pretty much the entire novel on this cargo hauler going up the space elevator. This cargo hauler is an unusually well-armed skyscraper. It's literally a building on a cable going into space. But the nature of his job is such that his physical size and the physical size of the people on the crew become both a point of conflict and a lens through which to examine who he is and how these folks interact. And also the interaction between the perception of crewed spaceflight and the rise of unionization and what happens when that's taken over by big business. Also, there are fights and several jokes. And if I could get all
jokes
of it...
in something you
jokes,
wrote?
Moi.
Shock. Oh.
But I think basically what I'm taking an incredibly long-winded way of saying is it's shown me the exact thing that Magnus, across its 5 years, has shown us, which is who these characters are, not just who they first appear to be. And for my creative process, that's incredibly useful. So, it's been fun. It's been really fun. And I'm looking forward to doing these other courses. So yeah, that's what's going on at the moment.
That and a lot of cooking.
Whole lot of cooking.
A lot of watching TV and playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, like I say, 4 seasons as a new girl, and
you're on season 4 already?
Yes.
Okay. You want to tell folks some of your Christmas presents? What you got for Christmas?
Because Margaret is amazing, she got me the entirety of Northern Exposure.
Okay, that wasn't me digging for a compliment, but thank you.
You never have to dig for compliments from me.
More from the perspective of what we will be consuming from the couch for the next several months.
Yeah, we're pretty well stocked up at this point. We now have all of Northern Exposure on Blu-ray, which is one of the 3 formative TV shows of me. All of Due South, which is one of the other 3 formative TV shows of me. Friends of ours bought us Space Above and Beyond, which Marguerite has never seen.
That is so all you.
And which I'm both really excited to put her in front of and terrified to put her in front of. And Defying Gravity, which somehow is not a show about putting on Wicked, but this is very obtuse. About a decade and a half ago, there was a really good BBC documentary series about a grand tour, a crewed spaceflight that would touch on all 9 planets. And it was great. I think it's called The Space Odyssey. It should be like a $5 on DVD at this point. And a US production house went, we can make a TV show out of that, and proceeded to do so. And they built in this really interesting and complex 5-year-long mystery arc, and then made it Grey's Anatomy in space, an early Grey's Anatomy, not where it gets weird and chewy and interesting. So it only lasted 1 season. I now own the season. Hi, patron saint of moderately terrible astronaut stories, reporting for duty. Marguerite also got me Days Gone, which is great because I'm about to finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so I have another sandbox to just dive headlong into. And I got you the expansion pack for 3 Kingdoms, didn't I?
Yeah, which I have some aspects of, but not all. It looks like I don't have the 4th house yet, which is fine. I could... Oh, excuse me, chat. I can go discover them on the inevitable sequential playthroughs.
Yes, of course.
Which I'm already planning. I'm going to put like 200 hours into this game. It's going to be glorious. So before we get started on the story, you've done this thing this year called Adopt a Book. You want to talk about that?
Adopt a Book is a really simple process, and it came. I wish I could remember who came up with it. It's not my idea. It's just a baton, if you will, that I have picked up and run with. This was a utterly horrifying year to be a debut novelist within. I mean, just utterly horrifying. How do you promote a book? How do you get people's eyes on it in this year of all years? And I picked 3 books.
In this climate?
In this climate. I picked 3 books. It was initially 4, but Architects of Memory by Karen Osborne, I've ended up having to push to early next year. Yes, that's how organised I am. Quite a lot of next year's The Full Lid is already figured out. But the 3 books from this year were...
Lean, my boy, lean!
The superb Notes from Small Planets by housebound Nick Crowley, which is a travel log as a journalist journeys across worlds which seem oddly familiar to anyone who's read genre fiction and discovers the awful truth beneath them. Also jokes.
We had Nate on to read a chunk of that book, which was really fun.
We did. Beneath the Rising by the magnificent Premi Mohammed, which is honestly my new standard for cosmic horror.
It's YA cosmic horror.
It is YA cosmic horror.
It's not technically YA, is it? But it has two young adult protagonists, which...
It is at least as much about the unrelenting horror of being a smart child and of surviving adolescent trauma as it is about the dread UFO gods from Dimension 9 unfolding into our world. Although that happens too. And finally... Oh, good. I'm glad you found Nate's guest appearance. It was great.
And we are going to have Premi on the stream in March for the sequel to Beneath the Rising.
Yes, we are. And finally, from Senor Matt Wallace, my Guado Camino, Savage Legion, which is his debut epic fantasy novel.
Oh my god, this book!
And which kicks the door off epic fantasy, sets fire to it, and proceeds to dance around in the ashes. It is incredible. It is fierce and angry and intelligent and compassionate and hot, frankly.
Yeah. If you love epic fantasy, but you're really, really tired of white dude chosen one stories, read Savage Legion.
You need this.
If you are non-binary and want to watch non-binary people be named and kicking ass and falling in love and taking central roles, buy Savage Legion. If you want people with disabilities to be intelligent and brilliant and in leadership roles, buy Savage Legion. This is an incredible book. I devoured it. I loved it. I can't wait for the sequel. That is one of my favorite books that I read this year.
Are we getting Wallace on for an interview?
I am attempting to do so. He has not yet responded. But Matt also has his first middle grade book.
Bump. About a girl at a professional wrestling academy, which is more than slightly autobiographical, I strongly suspect.
But yeah, we're trying to get Matt as well.
And when we do, brace yourself for spending time in the presence of the most laconic human being on earth.
You're going to watch two best friends just gab for hours.
Matt is hilarious. No one else can put more meaning behind the word fair. His Hugo acceptance speech, I honestly had £5 on him walking on stage, hefting the rocket, looking out and going, fucking right on, and leaving.
I'm sure. Oh, no. Stop.
I'm sure it was considered.
No, hang on.
Oh, technical difficulties.
No. My app crashed. I'm sure it was Murr who convinced him not to do that.
And finally, we put a book out last year too.
Say what?
We put a book out this year too.
Yes, we did.
The Escape Pod Anthology, 15 years of escaping into science fiction. Crammed full of amazing authors like Maurice Brodus, Beth Cato, N.K. Jemisin, Mary Robinette Kowal, Tim Pratt, Ken Liu, John Scalzi, Cameron Hurley, Sarah Gailey, and one T. Kingfisher, who is well known in these parts. This is also available now, and do please pick it up, because we really want to do another one.
So, we would love to do another one this year.
That was Adopt a Book. Next year, Adopt a Book will return with different books. I know a lot of you have picked them up, and thank you. Not just from me, but from these authors. This is an incredibly unpleasant climate for everybody at the moment, and you've measurably helped people. Good job. And with all that, shall we do the thing?
Yep. I'm having slight technical difficulties for a moment, so I'm just a little bit behind you. Vamp for about 35 seconds.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, there's a particular episode of New Girl where they get invited to a party by Prince. And about halfway through, Prince shows up. And it's not only just a really sweet cameo, but I realized late last night, it's also the Piper at the Gates of Dawn chapter from Wind in the Willows. Seriously. For those of you unfamiliar with it, Piper at the Gates of Dawn is a strong contender for the weirdest piece of children's literature ever written in this country. And I know that's a contentious field, but it's a chapter in the middle of the book, and basically Otter comes to Ratty and Mole and terrified because his son has gone missing. So the Riverbank spends this whole long summer night looking for, I think he's actually called Buster, this little baby otter. And Ratty and Mole find him asleep at the feet of Pan. That Pan, the horned god Pan. And they have a religious experience where they are in the presence of this deity that has chosen to look after their people. And Ratty is written in a way which implies he may have met Pan before. Mole basically reacts like a UFO abductee. And once they find him, Pan very gently gives them this little baby otter back and solves their problem and leaves. The episode of New Girl, Prince turns up at the exact moment they have a problem. He solves it. They party with him a little while, and then they leave. Schmidt actually says at the end of the episode, how do we go back to normal? How do we return to life after this? And it's the exact same thing. It is this colossal life-altering event, immediately followed by what happens after it and the consequences of it.
I think Twitch is having a chat-related issue because I've gotten messages from a couple of people that they're not able to load in. I'm not able to load in either.
And the chat seems to have frozen.
So I'm going to recommend that we may stop the channel and start it back up again and see if that may help.
Okay, folks, those of you who didn't hear, Marguerite has said that Twitch is reporting some issues. So what we're going to do is shut down and then boost back up, and hopefully that will unlock the chat.
Yep, so hopefully we'll be right back, folks.
Hang tight.